And welcome to the NBA Carousel. I am Jennifer Lewis, filling in for Miss Megan Price this evening. The NBA Carousel is a Sideline Sports Network production, proudly sponsored by Score No Score app, available for download on the Apple and Google Play Store, as well as Manscaped. Check out Inside Magazine, where you can get all of your cultural, technology, and sports news provided by Sideline Sports. And tonight we will be starting off with Mr. Jordan Long, who will be doing a double feature for us on the Denver Nuggets and the Phoenix Suns. And Jordan, welcome aboard. How are you this evening, sir?
I'm good, Jen. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. And so, which way do you want to start first? Do you want to hit your Suns first or the local team, the Denver Nuggets?
Um, let's do the Nuggets second because I've got some thoughts on the basically their loss against Washington. So we'll start with the Suns.
Okay, sounds like a plan to me. So, what are your thoughts on the Suns and their loss against Washington?
Well, actually, they lost against the Clippers.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. I confused you. Basically, the Nuggets lost to Washington. The Suns lost to the Clippers to start out the week. Honestly, though, they got outscored in every quarter but the third, and that you can't get outscored. Just
Right.
plain and simple. They didn't have any Booker, lost to 111 to 95. Just a bad night all around. Bridges had 16 points, McGee 13 points. Cameron Johnson led the team in points off the bench with
Mm-hmm.
17. But the Clippers, they played a better game. 45 points from the Suns bench, but they had 27 off of their bench, and it was just a bad over and all night. Suns shot 37.5%, and the Clippers 55.1. In the paint, though, that's pretty much the difference in this game. The Clippers had 58 to the Suns 46. Actually, though, they ended up their next game against Portland, much better game. Came away with a 4-point win in overtime. Outscored Portland 9-5 in OT. Ayton scored 28 points and added 13 rebounds. Chris Paul did his thing, 24 points, 14 assists. Again, no Devin Booker, but Crowder had 11 points. Payne added 17 points from the bench, 12 points from Johnson, eliminating Jeremy and Lillard to 31 points, which I thought was pretty good.
Yeah.
Still, though, the Suns shot 47.3%, Portland 41. Better ball movement, though. As we all
Yes.
know, the Suns love to move the ball around. 30 assists to Portland's 23.
Now, do you think with Dame, that's just the, unofficial attitude he's been having in Portland lately that kind of contributed, or?
I think honestly, it's just Dame being Dame. He's gonna have his 31 points. There's no CJ McCollum, so it's just him.
Right.
Basically, he's the Portland offense. So I don't know if it's the attitude there or what's going on, but he knows he is the centerpiece of that team, and he has to show up every night.
Yeah, he does. No question about it. He is who he is. Um, no, you did beat us, obviously, or the Charlotte Hornets, sorry, on Sunday. Um, what are your thoughts on that game?
It was Booker's first action back. I mean, since November 30th, he scored 16 points, and it was actually the best game of the year. I went back and looked to see what the amount of points was that we had total for, the game highs, and 137 was the most. I mean, yeah, we
Mhm.
beat the Hornets 137-106, but it was the best game they've played all year. It was nice to see the bench have 62 points,
Yeah.
but the Suns got hot from the field, and that's what you like to see, 56.6% from the field. Hornets struggled to shoot the ball 36%. And honestly, it was our outside shooting that actually helped. 23s to 10 for the Hornets. So the difference is really the 3-point shot there.
Yeah, I mean, it was a solid game. I was able to catch that game because I'm in Charlotte. So that was a pretty solid game. I'm not going to lie. Obviously the Suns, we've had our wins against them multiple times in the past, but the Suns are the Suns this year. So, that was a good game. I was looking forward to seeing what we would do. I was pretty proud of the Hornets, to be honest with you. So, now, what are your takes on tomorrow night? You are playing Los Angeles.
We are, and I think it's the best time to get them right now. We know they'll have Westbrook, they'll have their bench, but they're without Anthony Davis for 4 weeks, so it's the best time to catch them. I mean, Anthony Davis down low, he does so much for that team, and honestly, without him, it will help Aiton, it'll help JaVale McGee do things down
Yes.
low. Of course, they're gonna have LeBron's going to have his points. He's one of the better scorers in the league. You just have to play perimeter defense. He's going to drive inside. Just don't foul him to have and ones, but he's going to have his points.
Now y'all do actually have a very busy week. You have a game tomorrow night against LA, like we just went over. You have a game against Oklahoma City on Thursday. Then you have probably the game to watch on Saturday, Christmas Day game, at 5 p.m. So what are your thoughts on Oklahoma? And then I want your thoughts on Golden State.
Well, the thing about Oklahoma is they are a young team. They're still coming together. So I really don't know what to expect from them. It's a trap game. Can't overlook it, like you pointed out. We're playing Golden State on Christmas. And you know what Golden State's going to do. They have Steph Curry. They have Draymond Green. You have to defend the three-pointer. You can't let Steph Curry go off. He's going to get his points, but you can't let him have, 6, 7, 8 3-pointers. That can't happen.
Right. And I do think our friend Steve is going to have a few words about that game as well, because you're going to say you can't let that happen. But, I mean, it's Steph. Again, Charlotte boy. I'm a fan. Not going to lie. Been a fan for a long time. But can you really not allow him? Because
that's the problem. Is even if you play great defense on him, he somehow shoots the basket, 35 feet from the basket. You're going, how the heck did he make that with good defense? You're right. You cannot guard Steph Curry. I mean, you can try, but I mean, if you're going to limit him, I mean, by 18 points, that'd be great.
Right. And like my take with Steph is if we're playing them and we beat them, but I feel like it's kind of like when LeBron James was in his heyday, right? You kind of let LeBron do his thing and you guard everybody else.
Exactly.
And you protect the ball everyone else, because one man cannot win a game unless it's Steph Curry. He might be able to do it himself. I don't know.
Well, exactly. And luckily, no Klay Thompson yet. And that'll add to the mix when he comes back. But again, you just have to guard Steph, let him have his couple of 3-pointers and guard the rest. So,
right. Now, what are you thinking? I think it'll be a good game. I honestly think it's going to be who has the ball last, to be perfectly candid with you. I'll be surprised if it's not.
I would be too, but it's just, there's something about Steph Curry. I believe they're playing in Golden State and playing in that home building. There's just something special about Steph Curry on his home court, and the crowd gets into it. So it's just, could it come down to the end? Yeah, it could. But again, it just depends on how you defend him in the first 3 quarters. Or even if we're up 5, say going into the 4th quarter, you still have to guard him.
Right. No, like I said, I think it'll be a good game. I'm excited to watch that game. But that's just one girl's opinion. Now, has COVID really affected you guys, the Suns, at all?
At this point, not at all. But of course, who knows what's going to happen here in the next few weeks. We've been lucky not to get shut down.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's move over to the local team and your Denver Nuggets. Now, tell me about them a little bit. What's going on with the Nuggets?
Well, they beat Washington 113-107 to start the week. And honestly, I don't want to gripe about NBA officials, but Tony Brothers has something against Nikola Jokic. I don't know what it was. Basically, we know Jokic is, banged around in the paint. He was not happy with the call and basically let the officials know that was a foul. Didn't say anything more. And for whatever reason, Tony Brothers decided to give him a second tech and kick him out. And he's done this before. With Jokic and Tony Brothers have something. between them. And I don't know exactly what beef it is, but whatever it is, the NBA needs to address it. Now, did he deserve a tech? He did deserve 1, 2. I'm not sure. But they still ended up winning that game
Right.
113-107. So no harm, no foul. And then against Minnesota, they just completely lost one. They lost 124-107. Weren't really in the game. And, when Jokic isn't on, he's not on. He had a triple-double, 27 points, 10 rebounds, and 11 assists, but it didn't matter because the whole team never got involved. Then against Atlanta, definitely a better game. We won 113-115.
Yep.
The score is not an indication of how this
133.
game. Yeah, 133-115. The score is not an indication of how this game went. They basically outplayed Atlanta. Of course, Trae Young, their MVP, All-Star, had 34 points. John Collins, 20 points.
Yeah.
Capella, 15. But it's hard to stop Trae Young. And
absolutely it is. He's awesome. I mean, Trae's fun to watch. Like, far be it for me to give 85 South rivalry, any, kudos. But Trae Young's fun to watch. And I kind of I feel like Atlanta's kind of on the same trajectory, or the Hornets are on the same trajectory Atlanta was a couple of years ago.
I would agree with that. And unfortunately, our last game of the week was postponed yesterday because of COVID with Brooklyn. So,
yes. I'll ask you that question in a minute, but now you do have on Wednesday night Oklahoma City, and then you have us on Thursday night. Then on Sunday you have the Clippers.
I would say honestly, if you look at it, the Clippers are the hardest game. I don't know what to expect with Oklahoma City. Like I said, with the Suns, they're just a young team. With Charlotte, you guys have good shooters in LaMelo Ball, Terry Rozier, Gordon Hayward, and Miles Bridges. But you also have a big man that I wish we had in Mason Plumlee because he can box out. And he actually was pretty good in Denver with him and Jokic. But, you still got to play defense and box them out. Now, the Clippers, that's going to be a tough game. Still a dangerous team. They have, Reggie Jackson, Trey Mann, and Eric Bledsoe, who can all score. So you really got to play perimeter defense on those guys. If you don't, you're going to be eaten out alive there.
Right. Well, COVID hasn't really affected the Nuggets, have they?
Not as much. I mean, we've had a little bit where Bull has been out, Bones Highland has been out due to COVID. And of course, our game got canceled or postponed with Brooklyn due to COVID. But really, in all honesty, that's the only game we've had to postpone. So we've been pretty lucky on that end. And honestly, we haven't had that many players in health and safety protocols. So that's also a good thing. We're pretty much healthy and pretty much out of COVID.
Okay. And tell the folks where they can find you, Jordan. I think you have a lot on your plate this week with both teams. You're going to be watching a lot of basketball. I expect to see a lot on your blog this week, young man.
Thank you, Jen. You can find me at Sports Scoop on Twitter. Of course, you can find me here on the NBA Carousel and Thursdays on the NFL Carousel representing the Denver Broncos. And of course, read my blog, like Jen said, at sports-scoop.com.
All right, perfect. Jordan, thank you so much. I appreciate you coming on tonight, and I will talk to you, I'm sure, a little later this evening, actually.
Thank you for having me.
Have a great night. Bye.
You too.
And next, we're going to go to my man, Detroit Dom, talking about the Pistons and everything Detroit. Hey, Detroit Dom. How you doing, my friend?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm well. Thank you. So you guys kind of have quite the schedule this coming week as well. So what are your thoughts on your coming week? And I see they'll be playing New York tomorrow. The Nets. No, the Knicks. I'm sorry.
Knicks.
I put in. That was silly of me. And so, what are you thinking about that for tomorrow night?
Knicks. I'm trying. What's their?
Oh, I'm sorry. I kind of jumped ahead.
No, all good.
I know your Chicago Bulls game was postponed last week. We don't have a makeup date yet. what about the Pacers game? You guys lost 122 to 113, but that was a pretty good game. Pretty tight until the end.
Another one of those. I'm looking at it now. We shot a little better than we normally do. 49%, 28% from deep. That's kind of the usual thing. I think it was probably the turnover margin that cost us. They had 8. We had 12. We're missing Jeremy Grant right now for the next, I don't know, while. I forget what his injury is. I know he's on the trade block too, which I'm happy about. They should have traded him last year. But I think it's actually a blessing in disguise because Sadiq Bey's kind of been struggling all year. And ever since Grant got hurt, he's kind of resurged. He had 28 against the Pacers. He had like 25 or 26 the next night against the Heat. No, I'm sorry. The Rockets was the next game. The Heat, we beat, albeit a shorthanded team, but I'll take it. That was our first win in over a month.
And that was a needed win. Now, do you think you guys can ride that win and beat the Knicks tomorrow night? Because I know they're kind of hurting.
I mean, maybe. I didn't necessarily expect the losing streak to come to an end against the Heat. I kind of thought we would beat the Pacers and the Rockets. Clearly, I was wrong. This team is just, we're young, very, very young. I believe the youngest in the league, struggling to find our footing. We're a little bit banged up. Coach Casey's still trying to figure the rotations out. Now, again, with Grant being out, that complicates things further. Although, like I said, I think it's maybe a blessing in disguise. It gives Cade a chance to be featured in the offense. Sadiq Bey can get right again, which he has been lately, and maybe we'll finally figure something out with Killian Hayes, although I'm starting to lose hope.
No, and I apologize, but refresh my memory. What happened with Bey? Like, why did he go, sideways a little bit?
Honestly, I don't know. He's just, up until like 2 or 3 games ago, he's just been in a season-long shooting slump. Like, shooting around. Last year, he shot, I want to say, like 45% from the floor and almost 40 3-point range. And this year, he's been in like the high 30s and like the high 30s, from 2-point range and under 30 from deep. No real explanation. He's had more shot attempts this year than last. I think he's just been slumping. I think he's kind of, I think it's something above the neck with him.
Okay.
Like,
it's more mental, like the yips.
Yeah. The team doesn't really know exactly what his role is. He doesn't know what his role is.
Right. And that's tough.
Yeah.
I mean, it stinks, especially when you're on a large scale, but even in our day-to-day lives, when you're on a team at work, you don't really know what the deal is. It's tough.
Yeah.
Go
ahead.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, they just need to figure out what they're doing with him. And like I said, as much as it's probably a benefit for the rest of the team, as far as, people getting to step up and figure out what the roles are going to be going forward, it kind of sucks that Grant's hurt because you can't trade someone when they're hurt. Still got, obviously, a couple more months, I believe, until the trade deadline, but they need to figure out what they're doing with him and either wait for him to get back or prepare for life without him going forward, which is my suggestion. He's just a guy. A lot of people in my fan base are like, oh, don't trade him. And it's like, he's not that young. He's approaching 30. He's expensive. And he's just not really a piece that you build around. Like, Cade is that guy, not Jeremy Grant. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. You guys are also playing Miami this week again. You beat them on Sunday. Do you think you guys can beat them again on Thursday because you're at Miami this time?
It's entirely possible. I'm trying to remember who else was out besides. They had 4 or 5 guys that missed the game. Obviously, the main one being Jimmy Butler. I'm not sure if he'll be back or not, but I could see us beating them again. The Knicks, Not sure. I'd say it's a toss-up. Spurs could be a tough game as well. It looks like we play the Knicks again the following week
Mhm.
after the holiday.
Yeah,
Out of those four, I would hope for at least one win, if not two.
Yeah. And I think actually the San Antonio Spurs game will be a really good game and really fun game to watch and be involved with, at least because I mean, I know it's pop, but you're going to have, I don't know. I like the Spurs. I think the Spurs kind of play to the level of whom they're playing with, my teams are known to do that as well. So there's no shade there.
Absolutely.
Oh, has COVID affected you guys at all, really?
Not really. I don't really recall hearing anything in the
Okay.
in the last like couple weeks. Haven't heard anything about anyone having COVID. I mean, other than the game against the Bulls, but that wasn't us, that was them.
Right.
We've been pretty fortunate so far with COVID, thankfully. Knock on wood, cross your fingers. Who knows what'll happen going forward, because it's spreading all over the league, all over the country.
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised whatsoever if we get bit by it sooner or later, because I think probably kind of everyone will.
Yeah, I think everybody will as well. I know the Hornets were bit by it a couple of weeks ago. Our four guys are out of protocol now, but I think, I think it's inevitable. I kind of think they should we were talking about this the other night on Gerald Glassford's podcast. Megan and I both kind of think that we should just pause and let everybody recoup. It's not pausing for the entire season, but pause for 10 to 14 days. Let it calm down.
Absolutely.
Let people have, the holidays with their family for once. I mean,
the NHL is pretty much already doing that, right?
Exactly. Yep. 100%. The NFL should be, but they're not.
Right.
But yeah, that's just how I see it.
Yeah, I agree.
Who do you think is going to be your biggest opponent this week?
I would say probably the Spurs.
Okay, I can see that. I agree with you 100% on that. I think it'll be a really good game to watch, especially if I can get it here.
We suck. Everyone's tough for us.
No, but you're building, and that's okay. That happens in life. Sorry.
All good.
So Toby, where can everybody find you, Dom?
You can find me here on Monday nights on the NBA Carousel hosted by Megan Price. Thursday nights on Alex Fleming's NFL Carousel hosted by Eric Wilson. Friday nights on YouTube, We Are Lions Nation podcast, and Saturdays Gauntlet podcast hosted by myself, James Tatum, Jay Nelson, and Tyler Ingram.
All right, perfect. And that's a great podcast to listen to and watch.
Big things coming soon.
Yay, that's awesome. I love hearing it, Dom. All right, I will talk to you later, my friend. Thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Bye. All right. And now we're going to go to my man, my fellow North Carolinian, who is also an Eagles fan, but also loves his Denver Nuggets and especially his Bucks. What up, Cool McCain? How you doing, my friend?
Jen, how's it going?
Pretty good. A little crazy tonight. How about you?
Yeah. Can't complain. Tough week for the Bucks, but we'll get into it.
Yeah. It's okay. Yeah, you guys are not really doing what I expected you guys to do, because right now you guys are sitting at 4th in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, we are in 4th. We're 1 game back of 2nd, a half a game back of 3rd, 3 games back of 4th. So we're right in there. We were 1-3 this past week, but I'm going to go ahead and answer one of your questions for you earlier. Okay. When it comes to COVID, Milwaukee is going through it as of the moment. Giannis is out due to COVID. Middleton is out due to COVID. DiVincenzo actually was supposed to come back on Monday against the Pacers and play. He's out due to COVID.
Oh gosh, you guys
Wesley Matthews, Wesley Matthews is out due to COVID as well. And I haven't been able to find any information, but Drew Holiday didn't play in the last game, but he did play in the 3 previous to that. So could be something going on with COVID with him as well. We've put anywhere from 12 to 9 to 7 people, or actually 8 on the court this past week. So it's been a little bit of a struggle, just getting bodies and getting guys ready to play. So big reason why, we're losing. But hey, like Dom said in the last segment, we're all going to go through it. It's going to hit everybody at some point during the season. And, I saw an article talking about Giannis's vaccination status. Here's what people have to realize. We now have this Omicron variant. So if he caught that, even if he is vaccinated, his body could be treating it like he isn't. And that's why it's taking him so long, to get back. Hopefully he'll be back, sometime this week. Haven't heard any updates as of yet. But, none of our games have been, postponed or canceled due to, the COVID situation. So, I guess it is what it is. I guess it only applies to certain teams in certain markets. So, you know how that goes.
Yeah, no. Well, like I said a minute ago, we were talking, we really think the NBA should just put a pause, 10 to 15, days, but that's just one girl's humble opinion. I'm not, I don't work for the NBA for a reason. I'm not good enough. Yeah, you guys did have kind of a rough week last week. You did win against the Pacers. You did lose against the Celtics, who you get a rematch with against on Christmas Day.
Yeah, that should be fun.
Yeah. And then you did lose against the Pelicans, but that was a really tight game. That was only by 4 points.
And it was,
and then
Cleveland, in overtime.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I hold a grudge against Cleveland because of LeBron, but that's just me.
Well, like I said, a lot of these games would have been quite different if we'd had some semblance of a lineup. Even if we had Middleton or Giannis, I think we're looking at 3-1 versus 1-3. But hey, it's that time. It's better that it's happening now where we're still in fourth. Got a chance to get guys back. We don't have another game until Wednesday, so a couple more days. And we've got a game Wednesday against the Rockets. We got a game Thursday against the Mavs, and then that big Sunday game that you were alluding to against the Celtics. So if we can get some guys healthy, I think Houston's a game that we can win, kind of to start turning things around and getting in the right direction. The Mavericks, I think they're really an enigma because I watched some of their games. Yeah, and I'm like, you're not a very good team. And then I see some of their games. I'm like, you actually are. What's interesting to me is the games that they look better is when they don't have their star player.
Right.
So I don't know if it's he's here, so we're just letting him do it, or maybe just his style of play. He's ball dominant, so maybe that stops the rotation, that stops him from feeling more just free to play. But I noticed that they play better. Yeah. So whatever that situation is got to get figured out. It's either got to be him maybe giving some so that the other guys could feel like they're part of that rotation earlier and, getting the leads and not expecting him to be the guy all the time. And, him kind of saying, look, guys, I need your help to win. So we've all got to do this together. So I think you got to look at that as it's something that they've got to work on. So when you have that type of situation, I always look at it and I say, okay, well, that's 50-50, even if we don't have everyone, because they're not gelling yet. I mean, we've got our own problems with gelling. DeMarcus Cousins is still working on finding his role with the team. Wesley Matthews just got there. He's heard DiVincenzo out right now, but he's got to get reacclimated. So it's going to be interesting, actually, once all the pieces are there, how things work, because we've had some of the guys that don't play as much kind of step up and have some really good games, with things that are going on. Like just looking at the last game, and I do not want to say his name wrong, but I know I'm going to.
I do it all the time.
Yeah. His name is Sandro Mamukelashvili. Okay, so that's the best I can do. But
if someone else can correct us, please go for it. On that.
Absolutely. But he had 17. Jordan Nwora had 28. Cousins had 12. George Hill had 14. Those are all the people in double digits against Cleveland. So that kind of tells you why that game went the way it did. You don't hear any name that you really know, at the top of the list.
And each,
so that's
every team deserves a good double game,
Yep. And then I noticed also against the Pelicans, um, Drew Holiday, that was his last game before, he didn't play. He dropped 40 on the Pelicans. Grayson Allen dropped 25 in that game. He didn't play the last game either. And then Noir dropped 14, so he's been a pretty decent piece. And those are the only three guys in double digits. So I'm looking, I'm thinking, you got these three guys playing well. If you could get Giannis or Chris Middleton back, either or, I think that pushes you to where a lot of these games that are losses right now turn into wins.
Yeah.
But that's something that we're going to have to wait to see how that works out. But let's hope that those guys can get back in and make some contributions, so these guys can get back on the winning side of things.
Right, exactly. How long are Middleton and Giannis supposed to be out?
So they haven't given any updates as of yet.
Mhm.
What I've noticed with the NBA a lot of times is you may find out the day before, maybe the day of, oh, he's going to play tonight, or they're going to try to play tonight. I think the big thing is the testing. I think the big thing is them, getting the negative test, and that may be a challenge based on what variant they have of the COVID and get that negative test. So I think that's the biggest holdup. But hopefully, both those guys will be back this week. It would be great to have them at least by the 25th for that game. That would be, really amazing.
It would be really good. Yeah. Because obviously I don't want anyone to have it, but I've seen on my teams where people that I know, players that I know are vaccinated, are getting it. So, it's pretty dangerous. Well, I'm got to say this. Go Celtics. I think we're going to win.
That's fair.
But we can IM each other and talk smack.
Absolutely. And also remember, we can let Jason Tatum go ahead and get his 40 and just make everybody else beat us. So that's the thing with the Celtics right now.
The other guys, you get a couple points too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm ready
Jason Tatum's going to do his thing.
Crazy game.
Yeah, I think we'll easily say you can have your 40. It's just everybody else we're going to focus on attempting to take away what they can do. Because, are we going to really expend the energy to try to take Jason Tatum out the game? That's about as logical as saying everyone's going to focus on Giannis only and not worry about the other guys. It's just not very wise to do.
Right. And that makes sense. And I think you were politely correcting me from what I said earlier. So thank you. Oh, well, cool. Tell everybody where they can find you at.
Well, as you can see, Friday night, 7 p.m. Eastern time. You can find me playcallersportstalk.com. Of course, I'm here on the Carousel. You can find me on Thursday nights on the Sip Off, also hosted by Megan Price, with Anthony Brown and Jahan Phillips as co-hosts as well. And there's going to be something new coming in the pipeline soon, so be on the lookout for that. Not going to spill anything yet, but there is something brewing.
Well, thank you so much for coming on, Cole. It's always a pleasure to chat with you, sir.
Absolutely.
All right. Thanks. See you next week.
See you next week.
And next, we're going to go to Jay Nielsen with the Houston Rockets. And I think Jay has some fun news to talk about tonight with the Rockets and everything they've been doing lately. How's it going tonight, Jay?
Pretty good. Before we get started, in the spirit of the holiday season, could you please read my tag down there at the bottom?
Read your chat?
My tag right there.
Oh, Die Hard is a Christmas film. And it is.
And don't let anyone tell you different.
It's not. The Christmas tree and the scene on top of the building says it all.
It takes place on Christmas, and it is a Christmas film.
It is a Christmas movie, and it is about family and protecting your family.
Absolutely.
I'm right there with you, my friend, right there. I get mad at my husband because he doesn't like it as much as I do. Sacrilege. It's okay. We're just made of compromise, right?
Right. You gotta give a little, take a little, right?
Exactly. So you guys have been on a win streak. You beat Atlanta, which is awesome. Then you lost 2 games, but you ended the week on a win. So talk to me about that.
We did. As far as the Atlanta game, and that actually occurred last Monday. And it was sitting at halftime, and I was telling Megan Price if we can just hang around a bit because we knew Trae Young was going to do Trae Young things. You know, there's no exactly shutting him down. But if we could hang around and close the game, we could still win, and that's exactly what we did.
Exactly.
Now, the last one against the Knicks, 116-103, not too bad. Tate had 20. Wood wasn't playing, but even still, Tate had 20. Theus had 22. Martin had 16 off the bench. Normally, these are games that we kind of have more of a chance of winning. But on New York side, Randall had 21, Fournier had 23, and then 3 Knicks bench players were in double figures. I was saying last week about how we all know the deeper bench wins, and they pretty much outscored us, you know. The Knicks are looking really, really good.
Have the best game he's had. Sorry for interrupting you.
I'm sorry, say it again.
Wasn't that the game Kemba had the best game he's had in a long time?
Kemba? No.
Saturday.
No, that was Saturday. That was Saturday, yeah.
Okay. My bad. I apologize for interrupting you.
Oh, that's okay. Now the following game against Detroit, that was essentially a matchup between 2 very young teams,
right?
And everything. Wood had 21 and 8. I'll still say it. I'll say it as long as if Houston's gonna send someone to the All-Star game, it's gonna be Christian Wood. Okay. It's going to be Christian Wood. The guy gets a double-double every night, if not every other night. You know, he is what I have been wishing for the last like 3-4 years. Okay. Is to stop this run and gun business and put a big man down low and let him play. And the final nail in the coffin was having PJ Tucker as our 5 at 6'7". Right. Like, no. Yeah. We need a banger down there like Wood who's going to crash the boards and give Houston more of a chance to win than just going down there and just jacking up threes. Because the thing with the run and gun, you got to think, like, okay, when the threes are falling, great, you know, but it's one of those you live by the gun, die by the gun type deals. Exactly. Because whenever you don't – oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, and whenever the threes just aren't falling, you're showing yourself to be very one-dimensional. Granted, we had Harden. You know, he was the best in the league at getting to the line and whatnot. You know what I mean? But outside of that, you know, but you're still telling them to shoot instead of get to the line. That's why our coaching had to go. But this is the return back to the ball that we needed to be playing. Right. You know, having guys down low, crashing the boards, actually playing defense. You know, if it's open on a wing, take it. But if not, take the mid-range. Look at what Eric Gordon's doing. Eric had 18. He was 3 or 4 from three-point range. But he wasn't forcing anything. He was going out there and scoring. He's our legit team captain right now. He also had 5 assists. All 5 starters were in double figures versus Detroit. Martin Jr. had 10 and 11 off the bench. He had a double-double. Noaba had 13 and 7 off the bench, you know? So it's a lot of the bench work that's going to be getting it done for the Rockets. And that's something that I think Steven Silas will actually take a hold to. We have nothing but youngsters. Yeah. We have nothing but youngsters. And, you know, there's only one way, and that's up. But I've been proud of them over these last few weeks. Where the funny part about that, Jen, is that we're in the Western Conference. And and the tide has shifted because normally years ago, this would be the East. I looked it up just the other day, and Houston was only like 4 games from like the 6th seed. It was nuts.
I didn't know that. That's crazy. Well, do it.
Yeah. Like,
because I mean, honestly, like I've always liked the Rockets. I feel like you guys have come together. I know it was somewhat of an upheaval and almost like a fan shock when Harden left. But I think that it was kind of for the best at the end of the day, especially seeing what's going on elsewhere. And I'm not trying to be mean because, you know, I mean, for reasons I can't say on TV, I really like Harden a lot, but just say he got LeBron good one time. I don't like LeBron. No.
Yeah. And you know what? He was a great asset to Houston while he was here. Yes. It just didn't work out, you know, but sometimes you got to hit the reset button, and I'm okay with that. I'm fine with it. Yeah. I really want to see, because this is evaluation period also. So at the end of the season, Steven Silas may come to a crossroad and think like, okay, do I take a veteran off the street and bring him in, or do I keep these guys as is? You know? Right. this may actually pressure Eric Gordon to stick around a little longer too, because he's embracing that leader role. Remember, John Wall was supposed to have that role. You know,
I forgot that.
Yep, John
You're
Wall was
right.
supposed to have that role, but seemingly now it's Eric Gordon. I'm
Right.
not, you know, I'm not sitting here
Well-
saying he's a Giannis or a Kemba or anything like that, but it's who we've got, and we've been getting by with him. So I'm not,
Yeah.
I'm not mad at that at all. I actually am probably favoring. I'm probably going to favor, like, just don't go after a veteran. Just let these guys grow.
Yeah, let them grow. Let them learn from the veterans.
And let them grow like the Bulls and all the other young teams. Just let them grow, you know?
Well, and the NBA, I feel like, is pretty young right now. I mean, you've got Atlanta, you know, you've got the Pistons, you've got the Hornets, you've got Celtics are more not young, but not old either. So mid-young.
They've been like that for like the last kind of 10 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's like
I feel like there's just a lot of younger teams right now. And I think in the next couple of years, it'll be really fun to watch and see the game evolve.
It is. It's essentially the new like generation is here and whatnot. I think in the coming years, it's like, you know, LeBron's it could be any year now. I still think he's going to play. He's got like another.
Oh, yeah. LeBron's going to keep playing until he can't play anymore.
Exactly. He's going to be like Tom Brady, you know, but he represents that other generation along with Melo and you know, and such. And those guys are like kind of phasing out. And now it's the Lucas and, you know, it's Kim's time and it's going to be Jalen Greens and it's going to be Christian Woods and everything and Trae Young, you know, so I'm definitely excited for, you know, the future of basketball. And as far as my team goes, again, I say let them grow together.
I agree with you on that, actually. I don't know. I think that the NBA, I think there's going to be a lot of excitement in the next couple of years. I think energy is going to come back. I don't know. I'm kind of excited to see the fresh blood and the, you know, everything else. I'm not being very eloquent, so I apologize for that. I'm just excited to see what the future holds for the NBA because I'm kind of ready to see the next superstars. I'm happy to see Steph. He's Charlotte boy, Charlotte girl, you know, he's my boy.
Right, of course. You're
So
going to favor Steph, it's okay.
You know. But, you know, I'm just excited to see what happens. I'm excited to see the next generation of stars. I'm excited to get into online debates with people about if Michael Jordan is the GOAT or not, because he is.
I can see it. Some people do it. You know, most definitely, you know, with what's been going on in basketball and the game evolving so much. And it's crazy because, you know, if you notice during Golden State's run and even like the Houston Rockets of the last 3 or 4 years, you know, it's like, oh, it's a shooter's league. But now you're seeing Giannis and now you're seeing Christian Wood. You're seeing big men slowly come back. So this is the new debate. You know what I mean? It's like, hold on. I thought 90s ball was in the 90s and in the 2000s. Like, where these guys come from? You know,
I started watching 90s basketball tape.
Exactly. You know, so now I will say the only thing is with these bigger guys, they know how to shoot too. You know,
they do.
You know, so they got the best of both worlds.
They do. And that's great and I think that's what's going to elevate the game. Because we both know the game gets elevated every couple of years anyway, or every 8 to 10 years, it changes a little bit.
It changes. It's not the same game that it was back in 2010, that it wasn't in 03, that it wasn't in 1996. So
exactly. And no, let me ask you this. Has COVID really affected the Rockets?
No, not really. I know we were short some players versus the Knicks. We didn't have Jalen Green's nursing a hamstring injury. We didn't have Wood, but that wasn't COVID related. Instead, we had Tate, Theus, and Martin out there. And the crazy part about it is like, look at what they did. Whenever Wood's absent, someone is stepping up. Whenever Green's absent, and he has been because of injury, other people have been stepping up. This is what I've been like looking for. I've never really been a fan of. I'm just going to depend on one player. You know,
right? You can't do that.
You cannot do that. You can't. And you know what? That's the mistake that the Rockets did for the last like 7 years. Look at Harden's usage rate. He had the highest in the league at one point.
Yeah, that's true. Because I don't know. I think we've just got so like it's with COVID, with injuries, with everything else. It's so crazy right now. So yeah,
It's crazy. It's nuts because maybe COVID is kind of testing these teams out of who's got the deeper team.
yeah, survival of the fittest.
Yep, who's got the deeper team?
NBA style,
So,
baby.
yeah,
I mean,
it's almost like this pandemic said, if you're not going to coach your team, I will.
well, personally, I loved when COVID first hit. They canceled the ACC tournament and March Madness. Remember?
Right.
So my thing was, you guys thought you were going to have this without the Carolina Tar Heels.
If we can't win, nobody wins.
Exactly. Won't Jay
That's one way
tell
of looking at it.
everybody where they can find you, sir?
All right. Well, you can catch me here on Monday evenings at the NBA Carousel. I'm your Houston Rockets representative, of course. That's hosted by Megan Price. But tonight we got the stand-in Jennifer Matthews Lewis. You know you wore both hats now because one time you produced and now you hosted. So you're like
tonight I'm doing both.
You're the Swiss Army knife for the crew, you know?
Right.
Yeah, Jen's the Taysom Hill of the group. But
I'll take it. Thank you.
You can also catch me on I also appear on the Sip Off as well. That's hosted by Megan Price and Jahan Phillips and Anthony Brown. So please check that out. That's coming on at 7:15. No, excuse me. Yeah. 7:15 Central Standard Time, 8:15 Eastern. Also, I'm the co-host of the Sports Gauntlet podcast. That is myself, James Tatum, Dom DeRubis. Yeah, I finally said it right. And Tyler Ingram. That is on Saturday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern. So definitely check us out. Big things coming soon. Also, I know you all have heard me talk about the Houston Heat for the Women's National Football Conference. Mm-hmm. I actually just attended their first practice on Saturday morning. And there's a lot of talent out there. I got some good pictures and good clips. Myself and CEO Tay Brown of Visual Dramatics are going to be putting together a live commentary. We're going to try to bring our good buddy Lacey O'Neal on, who also plays on the squad. So definitely I will let you all know about that. Shout out Marshall Hill, Craig Davis, my Unconventional King fam. I'll see y'all next week.
All right. Thank you so much, Jay.
Thanks for having me on.
All right. Bye. Okay, guys. Next we're going to go to Steve Schwanda. Then we're going to have Will Vogel on to discuss some Hornets. But Steve and I want to discuss a little Golden State action and some minor news that may have happened last week.
What's up, Jen? How are you?
What up? How you doing, Steve?
I'm doing well. It's like you're going low class today. You're not showing us the skyline. You're in a room.
I know, because it's like 20
I
degrees
always love when
outside.
you get in the skyline. Yeah.
You get to see my bedroom instead.
Yeah. Well, real quick, let's get this out of the way. Steph Curry.
I love it.
There it is.
I love it. Cheers.
Well, that was good. That was good.
Let's have some yucky questions.
Yeah, 29.82 and counting for Steph.
Yep.
Obviously, he passed 29.73, Ray Allen's record. We talked about it last week. Obviously, 1,300 games for Ray Allen, a.k.a. Jesus Shuttlesworth. For those of you who watched He Got Game, great movie.
Right.
And Steph is at 790 games. So do the math real quick. That's 510 less games, which is basically 6 seasons and some change. That's awesome. Pretty impressive.
Yeah.
They had a pretty good, we talked about last week how they had an East Coast road trip where they were at Philly, Indy, Boston, New York, Boston, Toronto. Well, after Steph broke the record, they all did play Friday night in Boston. And then apparently nobody wanted to go to Toronto because they sent basically their G League team to Toronto. So they lost they lost 119-100, which truthfully I have a problem with because that's an Eastern Conference team. So that means that's the only chance that fan base gets to see the Warriors this year, right? You know, you play a home and home against the other conference. So in the only game that Golden State went to Toronto this year, there was no Steph, Draymond, Jordan Poole, Andrew Wiggins, Iladaga, and Otto Porter. They literally play with Kevon Looney and basically people who don't play. Like, Jonathan Kuminga, who's a lottery pick. He's a very talented young player. You know, he had his first career start. He had 26 points. You know, he showed his, which might, if they want to do it, that might help Golden State down the line to be like, hey, he actually is good. Maybe you get a veteran for him. I still think they should just hold pat because, you know, Klay's close to coming back. We'll talk about that in just a second. You know, Wiseman's close to coming back, and they're still, you know, 24-6. So they're doing okay. So, you know, but yeah, I did have a problem with just because
I didn't let that happen.
I just think that it should be more evened out. Yeah. Right. Like have one guy rest this game, the other guy rest this game. Like, don't have a game where 6 guys don't play. Like,
yeah, that's messed up because those tickets aren't cheap. Like, honestly, Golden State is,
And I mean, I live in Michigan. I went to a Golden State Detroit game before to see Steph and all that. And luckily he did play in that particular game. But like, if I got that ticket and then he didn't play, like I would have been upset, and reasonably so. And Michael Jordan, the actual GOAT, said that.
I agree with you.
Long ago said that because he said, maybe somebody watching this game, this is the only chance for them to see me play. So I owe it to them to give my best effort, you know? And yes, it was an East Coast swing. You know, they played 6 games in basically a week on the East Coast. I get it. But
yeah, but they were in Boston on Friday night.
Yeah, they went. They went from Boston to Toronto.
Yeah, they went New York to Boston. Yeah. You can do that trip in 3 hours on the train.
You went from New York to Boston to Toronto, and let's not pretend it's not like they're not. It's not like they're riding in
trains,
bus,
cars.
Yeah, it's not like they're riding in trains or buses. They're riding in charter planes.
Yes,
but yeah. So I really did. I had a problem with that. They do play the Kings tonight back at home. It starts in about an hour-ish from now. They got Memphis on Thursday. And then I know you talked to Jordan earlier. They play the Suns on Christmas Day, which is in Phoenix. That is in Phoenix. And then they have a home and home against Denver on Tuesday and Thursday, the 28th and the 30th. And then they play at Utah on New Year's Day on January 1st. So,
and it's
kind of, I mean, a tough schedule, really.
They're at home against Denver on Tuesday, and then they're in Denver on Thursday.
Correct.
Utah Saturday. Okay.
Then at Utah, yeah. So they're home. They're home. Yeah, they're home against Denver on Tuesday. Then at Denver Thursday. At Utah on New Year's Day, which would be Saturday, right? Yeah, January 1st is Saturday. Well, a week from this Saturday, obviously, but yeah. Yes. So I mean, a tough schedule, but Klay's close to coming back. They haven't announced a date yet, but they're saying sometime in early January. My prediction, I'll just say it right here for the world to see, on January 9th. Yep, I just want to make sure I got the date right. On January 9th, they play Cleveland at home. I think Klay comes back. I think Klay comes back that night. January 9th at home against the Cavs. I feel like that's a nice starter.
You like the symmetry there.
Yeah. I feel like that's a nice starter matchup for Klay. Let's get him acclimated again. And, and the Cavs have been, I mean, they've been better than most people have thought they were going to be, but they're still not, world beaters by any stretch of the imagination. It's a home game. It's, it's after the Christmas and New Year's rush and all these big games. Like he's not going to come back, obviously, on, New Year's Day at Utah, obviously. So it's, it's a nice, so that's my prediction. January 9th at home against the Cavs. I think Klay comes back. And how they've been playing, even if Clay is 40% of what he was, Jen,
Right.
they're golden, right? Like
Yeah,
how
they're
many times have you seen a pick and roll with Steph and anyone? And obviously the defense can completely shift to that side of the court, especially with Jordan Poole out for a while with the COVID protocol, right? If you have, Otto
Well, don't you think
Otto
Poole will be
Porter
back by
in the
then?
corner. Yeah, it's a little different if you have Otto Porter in the corner or if you have Klay Thompson in that corner, right? You have Klay Thompson in that corner, you can't help off of him. I don't care if he can run, jump, or do anything. He can still shoot. I promise you he can still shoot. So you're not leaving him.
Yeah. Like no one doubts his ability to shoot whatsoever.
Yeah, exactly. You can still shoot. We've all run into those people. Like you might, you might not be able to dunk anymore or run up and down, whatever. You can still shoot. Like the great scene in Blue Chips where Bob Cousy played the athletic director in Blue Chips. And there's a scene where he's shooting free throws and the coach is passing him the ball and he's shooting free throws and he doesn't miss, right? Well, they did that in one take because Bob Cousy doesn't miss. Like he can still shoot. Right. Doesn't matter how old he is. He's still going to shoot a free throw and knock it down. So
there's a couple players like that. I can think of like Anthony Jameson, MJ, I'm sure Abdul.
Yeah.
I'm sure there are a couple of players who won't miss.
Yeah. I mean, that's the last.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the last thing that you're going to lose is your shooting ability. Like you might not be able to run up and down anymore, but if you're just standing there and shooting, you can still shoot.
Right. Exactly.
And that's the thing. And Clay did that. Even the game that he went off where he had 61 or whatever it was, he had 14 dribbles the entire game because it was basically just catch and shoot threes. Right. So he's not a player that needs to create his own shot, especially with Steph Curry, because one of the one of the many things that's underrated about Steph Curry is he's great with the basketball, obviously dribbling, and he's a good passer. He really is. And he moves well without the ball. And obviously when he moves without the ball, everybody goes to him. And then thus Clay's wide open. Right. So I'm going to say January 9th against the Cavs, Clay's coming back and the Warriors are going to keep on rolling. But yeah, this is a big week though for the Warriors. They got the Kings tonight, which they obviously need to win.
Yes.
Memphis Thursday, which is tough because John Morant's great, and they've had trouble with Memphis, truthfully, in the past. Memphis kicked them out of the playoffs last year. Memphis kicked them out of the playoffs last year in the play-in game. So that's a troubling game. And then of course the home and home against Denver, who I have great respect for. I love Denver, and then Utah is the best team that no one talks about. So
exactly. And that's been that way.
It's a really tough week for Golden State. If you talk Kings, Memphis, Suns, Denver twice, Utah. I mean, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, those 5 games, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, well, 6 games. Yeah. Because you got Denver twice. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So those 6 games, if you're 4-2, you're doing a good job.
No, here's my question. Just because
you're doing a good job.
I prefer the Pacers over the Heat, not gonna lie. But why? I don't understand why the tickets are more than twice for Miami, because Miami's 26, but that's just me.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. And Indiana, I mean, Golden State struggled with them, and they were able to win, but they struggled because Sabonis and those. I mean, Indiana's a good team. They've struggled, but there's still a lot of talent there, right? But obviously, it's a difference of being in Indianapolis and being in South Beach. So everything's more important. Everything's more expensive, right? Like you could probably get a burger for under $50 in Indianapolis too.
Right.
But, in South Beach, you go out dinner for 2, you're going to spend $100, right? So it just depends on where you're at. But yeah, I'm with you. And I've been to Indy. I love Indy, but yeah, it's just a difference between Indy and Miami.
Okay, I can see that. Well, Steve, tell the folks where they can follow you and find you at.
Absolutely, Jen. And by the way, of course, you didn't wear a Spurs shirt, but you knocked it out of the park this week. You're doing a great job.
Thank you. Job. Just trying to follow the hostess with the mostest.
Yes, the hostess with the mostest. Merry Christmas to you. I hope you and your family have a good holiday. And yeah, the easiest way to find me, obviously, NBA Carousel. Sometimes, well, not sometimes, always, except for this week, hosted by the great Megan Price, but this week hosted by Jen, who also is the hostess with the mostest. So easiest way to find me, talking about Warriors, sometimes Wizards, sometimes Nets. And then also All Eyes on You, the letter U, Hoops on Twitter. Flagrant Friends is my NBA podcast. Perched on the Gridiron is my NFL podcast. You can find it wherever you get your podcasts. And I got to go back to my Chippewas. My ladies are playing.
Have fun watching.
Yeah, my ladies are playing Wisconsin Green Bay. Yep, I love my Chippewas. Shout out to Molly Davis. Should win MAC Player of the Year. She's awesome. So I got to get back to my Chippewas playing Wisconsin Green Bay. Hopefully, I'm trying to double multitask here. But, yeah, hopefully they'll get the job done. And everybody have a great, healthy, happy holiday.
Thank you. You as well, Steve. We'll talk to you next week. Bye. And next, we are going to bring my buddy Will Vogel on. Will and I go back. We're both OG Hornets fans. We kind of adopted each other at a couple of games. What's up, Will? How you doing, my friend?
Good. I wasn't supposed to be on this week because I'm
I
on
know.
vacation, but I wanted to squeeze in.
Thank you. I love talking with you, but I think you know that. Are you having fun on vacation first and foremost?
Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah?
I miss Charlotte.
You miss Charlotte? You ready to go to a game?
The next game I'm going to is in like 2-3 weeks. So let's see.
You're not going to go to the Rockets game?
No, I'm going to the January, what is it, like 14th, 15th game against the Magic?
Yep, January 14th.
Because I want to see Jalen Suggs play.
Okay.
But hopefully we win. That's
hopefully. That's always the goal, right?
Right.
Our buddy Alex would disagree, but that's always our goal. We'll tag team that.
Yeah.
No, so what now? COVID, we got kind of lucky because COVID hit us a couple of weeks ago. Our guys all came back. Terry, LaMelo, help me out here because of
Plumlee, McDaniels.
Yes, and McDaniels. It was 4.
Someone else.
Was it 5? I thought it was 4.
4 or 5, something like that.
Somebody
But we did just get hit today.
With who?
Cody Martin.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big role player.
That's no good. Yep. Because we have coming up, or tonight we're playing Utah.
Yeah.
Tip off is nowish. But well, no. Tip off's in 2 hours because it's 9 p.m. Central Time, I assume. Or
I don't really know.
I don't know either. And then tomorrow or the Thursday we're playing Denver. Then next Monday we're playing Houston. So our guys get to have a holiday break.
Which is good.
Wednesday, the Pacers. So in Indiana. So we've got a tough. We're on the road with the exception of 2 games the next couple of weeks. So including last week. Now, how do you think we did against Dallas on last Monday night?
It hurts. I wanted us to win that game because they didn't have Luka Doncic. Yeah. And Rozier had a good game, 20 points. Hayward had 17 points. And Oubre's been lighting it up off the bench. He had 20 points. But, like, we need to win against Dallas. Like, they didn't have Luka, and I get it. They have, like, Tim Hardaway Jr., and they have good role players. But that's a game we need to win. If they don't have one of their stars.
Has Michael Jordan's number, and that's why we keep losing to them.
Oh, yeah. Easily. Easily. He's probably like, hey, let's make a bet, Jordan.
Yeah, right. Jordan kind of likes making those bets. But we did beat the Spurs. Megan and us are still friends. So.
Somehow. No, beating the Spurs was huge. Gordon Hayward had an amazing game. He had 41 points, which is huge.
Very.
Cody Martin had 21 points, and McDaniels had a double-double off the bench, but 41 points. If someone would have said, oh, Hayward would have had a chunk of the points, like 41, I would have been like, dude, give me 20 in a heartbeat because I would never have expected 41.
No, never, ever, ever. And that's not to knock him. I don't think either of us are knocking him. We both like him, but
No.
it's, hey, I'm glad he had a ball out game. That was
Yeah.
awesome.
And then we played the Blazers, which
we should have won that game.
I think we could have snuck. I would have loved to sneak up on the Blazers and beat them, but it was a loss. Bridges had a double-double, who's had a really good year, and I've said it over and over again. He can be an all-star along with Ball. That would be great. Bridges used to. I remember when he came out of Michigan State, they said, "Oh, he's just a dunker and he has good defense. That's it." No, he's expanded. He can shoot now.
Yeah.
Exactly. Ball actually came back that game from the protocols. He actually had 27 huge points, which was nice. Oubre had 18 points off the bench, but it's good to have Ball come back and not play rusty, and he played good, so that's awesome.
Exactly. I like that about him, because even last year when he was injured and he came back, it was like he never left. Because he actually did better.
No, yeah, exactly. Like he probably practiced a lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then we lost to Phoenix, which I'm not trying to sound like a pessimist, but I knew we were going to lose. I knew it was going to be tough. Phoenix is a hard place to play in and against a good Phoenix team, because what the Hornets, and I've been saying this for months, is we need a better big man. I don't think Plumlee's the answer. We got Kai Jones, but we need a Sabonis. How cool would it be in Charlotte to have Domantas Sabonis or Miles Turner? I want one of those guys.
Oh, I do too. I would love to have them.
And then, but Bridges at 26 points, and then Oubre at, again, 18 points off the bench. Oubre is playing he can win most improved player of the year, or I don't know if he's technically our sixth man. I feel like he is. He can win sixth man of the year.
Right. And I don't know. I think we've got a lot going on. I would love to see him win sixth man of the year. I'd love to see us pay Miles Bridges this year.
I think we will. I think we're going to pay Bridges for sure.
And I haven't heard anything about the luxury tax, so I think we're fine on cap.
Yeah, I bet we're going to re-sign Bridges.
Because he's brought the fun back.
It's thing that hurts.
MKG used to play, back when the Hornets first came back. They lit up, but they're doing it at a much younger age too, even what Kemba and MKG were doing back then.
The thing that hurts tonight is Hayward's out with lower back discomfort, but I don't think he'll be out too long, because you got a game today and then you said Thursday. He'll be back by Thursday.
Yeah. That won't be a problem at all.
But no, I think we'll pay Bridges in the offseason for sure.
Okay. I do too. That's just my one little concern, because I don't want to lose them like we did Kemba.
Or my guy, Devontae.
Yeah.
I'm still hurt a little bit. I miss him a little bit, but.
Yeah, I was really hurt about losing Kemba and Cam within 3 weeks of each other.
Oh, literally. I'm surprised I didn't go into a corner and hide.
Surprised I didn't move to Boston.
I would have been take me with you.
I would have brought you, Will. I would have brought you. Well, Will, tell the folks where they can find you at, sir.
Well, you guys can find me here on Monday nights covering the Charlotte Hornets, Thursday nights sometimes on the Sip-Off hosted by Megan Price, Jahan Phillips, and Anthony Brown. And then I will shortly, I don't know when, return to the Gauntlet hosted by James Tatum, Tyler Ingram, Jay Nelson, and Dom DeRubis.
Yeah. Well, Will, you are a blast. I do miss you, my friend. And
we will see each other soon. Don't worry.
We will, I promise. When you come back, let's go to the lights together.
Let's do it.
All right. On it. I'll talk to you later, my friend. Bye. Yep. And next, we're going to go back to the West Coast with the pundit's pundit, Mr. Jacob Christensen. Hi, Jacob.
Christner.
Why was I giving you a new last name? I don't know.
Hey,
because I know it because that's my brother's first name.
Todd Christensen from the Raiders is going to be a little surprised now. He's going to have himself. No, I wanted to bring up something before we go to the Kings. I wanted to bring up something about the 3-point title. It's 74 now plus more. I started to think of something that I remembered, a little piece of history that I listened to, I'd say about a week ago or so. Back in like the turn of the century, 1900s, there was toothpaste had been around for 50 years, and yet 7% of people brushed their teeth at that time, rich or poor.
Really?
Yeah. Even during that time, it was around for 50 years. And do you know what changed it?
But
Mint. Mint changed it.
Makes sense, because then they wouldn't have to taste the fluoride or whatever taste it was.
It was before it was bland. Everybody likes to smell good, and they like to taste. And that's what people figured out. And it's like, and it's with a 3-point. And now I'm just bringing that in to the 3-point deal. I prefer. I grew up with the 80s ball. I grew up with Magic and Bird. I grew up with Showtime. I grew up with all those. I like the less spread. The less spread out game. I like the fast breaks. But now yet I have to put it into my head that this is a whole brand spanking new generation. Remember, he'd spent 13 years for Steph now, so a whole new generation. That's all they know is threes.
Right.
So the thing is, he's going to destroy those records, but someone's going to destroy his. Everybody shoots threes. High schoolers shoot threes. Everybody shoots threes.
Pop quiz. Where did the 3-pointer start, or where was the very first 3-point shot taken in college
you're
basketball?
boring me. Chris Ford, Boston, 1979.
College basketball.
No, I thought you were talking about the NBA. But
college basketball.
Oh,
it was the first one in college and in the NBA, actually.
Yeah. But
it was at Western Carolina University.
And Chris Ford hit his, here's what's funny about that 3-pointer. Chris Ford, he shot it like he was shooting a half-court shot. They were just shoving it off.
Right.
And now everybody even the women have a stroke now. So it's like, but I have to put that in my head. It's like, and that's going to get destroyed too. Everybody shoots it.
Right. And I think that's fine. But again, Charlotte girl, Steph Charlotte boy. So I'm always going to root for him. I always kind of have. Just because, I mean, I remember watching the news when he was 4 and at, the old Charlotte Coliseum playing ball with his dad and and Muggsy Bogues and the rest of the Hornets.
Muggsy then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, it's funny because the only two people, I may be misrepresenting this, but to my knowledge, Michael Jordan was the only person to ever get into Muggsy Bogues' head, and Muggsy Bogues was the only person ever to get into Michael Jordan's head.
Yeah. And Larry Bird was the only one to ever do a fist bump on Muggsy Bogues' head.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah. So, it's just that little thing. It's like, well, when you're 6'10", you do that.
Exactly. So you guys had quite the 50-50 week last week.
Yeah.
You lost to Toronto.
Yep.
You won against Washington. You lost to Memphis. And you won against the Spurs. And then you're playing tonight against Golden State. And I think you're going to win.
You can't tell. I'm just saying this. Yesterday, I had everything planned on my I had everything planned perfectly down to the hilt, kind of like Tom Landry with his offense. I had it planned perfectly to the hilt for with Tom Brady, a couple others. All the nice offense. They were going to just throw all that offense. Look what happened. 0. Right. You really can't tell. But see, the thing about the Kings gets me a little bit. It's frustrating. First off, one of the frustrating things is they might shut down for the Friday before Memphis game. And this COVID things make me roll my eyes. I'm sorry. It's just true. But it's like, and then Alvin Gentry got COVID. So you got Doug Christie coaching the team. Now, the thing that's frustrating me is they're going back and forth. They're going back and forth with their game. But one of the biggest deals is the fact they gave up another 70 points, 80-point half. Then they recover and get better. But they're really, really, really inconsistent on defense. It's like they get someone has to put a boot in their ass. Sorry about that. But it's like they do, and it's like, but then. See, it's like they don't play a consistent four quarters. They just don't. And that's one of the big things they have to improve right now.
Well, and you guys had to shut down the team facility on last Thursday. I'm sorry. No, I get it. But I mean, the thing is, it just affects different people different ways. So
same as the 3-pointer, I have to put it into the thing that it's like I live in just being truthful to the world. It's like we say the West Coast, I live in Georgia.
Right.
I live in Georgia. And Georgia, Florida, those aren't shut down anywhere near as much. You know what I mean? Tennessee, not shut down near as much. California, California's it's a death warrant to them, whether it is or not. I mean, it's a different message. Everything's a different message. So I have to put that in my head. Even if I'm rolling my eyes, it's a different message out there. So they are going to shut down.
Then you've also got, politicians saying one thing and doing another thing out there.
Of course. So it's like, it's. I'm just saying it's going to be the same as a different message. The NHL is not going to be playing any Olympics because a lot of them are Canadians, and so people aren't playing. All of a sudden, they're not going to play Olympics now, and it's like because they don't want to go to China and then be quarantined.
Right. Well, we'll hush now. That's going down a whole other topic, Jacob.
Leave the non-hushing to me.
I will say I was unpleasantly surprised that you guys beat my home team on the 10th, which I know we're going back a week and a half.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying I might be holding a grudge against you for that.
Like I said, really over. See, all I can think about overall is I always feel like that Charlotte's a very talented team. And there's the Michael Jordan, I'm going to get the star one step away type. But where is it? And win.
Right.
And that's what I'm always looking for is it's like MJ is still the biggest name in basketball, almost the biggest name in sports.
Yes.
Still to this day.
Literally billions off of that.
Yeah. And it makes me wonder for all that big. And he's big. I mean, he's got 17 times the amount of money that, as far as shoes that LeBron James makes, like 17, like something ridiculous. And it just makes.
Michael had to give that up when he became an owner, though.
Right.
Or he had to give up being part of it. He still gets the royalties and things like that. I think he's still in the design, but he's not allowed to help pick and choose who gets what from Nike.
But it just makes
a conflict of interest.
CNA has his racing team also, but it makes me wonder. It's like for his name, and it's still huge. Why is Charlotte going after? Why aren't they going after a monster? Because they get talented teams. They got a pretty talented team this year.
Yeah,
they get teams. But they're always one step away, and it's that game changer. And
always,
it's like you think he'd get it.
Always. Well. Shaq reminded him once or twice. I might need Shaq to remind him again.
The thing is, bringing up the Kings, bringing up the Kings, and it's like you can't. I mean, you really can't tell they could lose by 40 easy. And you got to remember they've given up in the last 2 times in the last 10 days. They've given up 81 points and 70 points and a half.
Right, and in all honesty, we lost by 1 point to you guys.
Yeah.
So that just tells me we didn't put it, it just looking at the numbers, I kind of remember the game, but it was my husband's birthday weekend. So we were doing other things too. But it just tells me that they may have gone in a little cocky. My boys may have, and then decided to up it up at halftime.
Well, Sacramento's 13 and 18.
Right.
18. I mean, keep up at that range, and that's 7 through 10. That's the play-in.
Mm-hmm.
So you keep not saying that you're the greatest in the world, but you get to the play-in. And also remember, Ben Simmons could easily still be on that list for them, to be at playmaker because hell, they need playmakers right now.
They do, but do you guys really want Ben Simmons, or do you guys just want to do?
Oh, they need him. He can't shoot. Big deal. They got 4 of the guys that think they can shoot anyway. They need his passing. They need his defense.
What about his mental? And I'm not being mean. 100%.
You know something? I'm wondering about Calvin Ridley's mental. I'm just being truthful. I'm wondering about Calvin Ridley on the Falcons' mental. I wonder about certain ones. I wonder in my own head who is true. And so a lot of people do have true mental issues. So don't get that wrong. But I wonder who is that and who is using it to stay healthy for a new contract. Because there could be some. Because Calvin Ridley, and I'm just using that as an example, did not have issues until this. And it's like,
excuse me,
wrong. But, I'm asking the same thing about Ben Simmons. Is he doing it to be healthy? Is he doing it to be, to just hold on? I don't know.
Right.
And
I don't
the
know.
thing-
I mean, it's a good question, but I mean, because I know at one point he had listed his house. I don't know if it's still listed. And
oh,
South Jersey, I think.
oh, well, he's broke
Huh?
for one thing.
Is he?
He spends all. I mean, his whole one of the whole things of his news was always. I'm not going to say don't have the official that he's broke, but
Okay.
the whole thing about it is he hasn't gotten paychecks, no real paychecks. He spends money like a sieve, and that's what happens to anybody. I mean, remember
Right.
Mike way back when? I mean, he had 300 million and it was gone. It's like money goes in the same boat. But let's go to his game for a second. Ben Simmons is still a defensive whiz, and he for a league that doesn't have any or hardly any. And and the biggest thing, he's a 6'10" guy that can handle the ball and he can pass. And and Sacramento needs defense horrendously. And I'm just wondering, considering the amount of points they gave up in the first half in those two games, where they go do. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Anyway, I'm just wondering. I'm wondering how, by any chance, could they give up 100 points in the first half tonight? You know, it's like, and they need defense bad.
Do you think they want to so they can get like the first round pick?
Oh, you mean Sacramento?
Yeah.
Well, the third, like right now they're closer to
13th. Yeah.
Yeah, as I said, they're 7. I mean, truthfully, they're closer to 7 to 10 than they are the first round pick. I mean, they're true. I mean, you got to realize, got Houston. I mean, Houston's probably getting away from that with their wins, and they got Detroit.
Houston's getting away from that right now. Houston's climbing back up the ladder.
Yeah, and which I'm happy for him. I'm happy for him because it's good for Steven Silas. Because you got to when you start out that badly, you got to wonder how the team handles it. You know.
Exactly.
But no, the issue that I have is the reason I think about Ben Simmons and stuff like that is the defense. That's those numbers in the first halves, and who knows what happens tonight.
Mm-hmm.
They need they are lazy on defense, and they need help. And I know he'd play that. That's what he would do. And even if he shoots horribly, they need something.
Well, now, interesting question. Do you think Golden State will start their starters against you, or do you think they'll do what they did to Toronto?
Who knows? Who knows? Okay. You got to remember too. This is the era. This is the era of what's the word for that? You know, when they sit like load management. This is the era of load management. I don't know.
Right. I know. I'm not a fan of that. I agree with what Steve said earlier. I don't know if you heard it. Like, you know, even it out. If you need to give a guy a rest, give him a rest. But don't put your 6 starters out. Like, that's just jacked up.
We hear everything Steve Schwanda says. I mean, he talks more,
Steve.
He talks more than me. And that's
I don't know if that's possible, Jacob.
Well, hey, my dad would agree with you.
I know, right? I feel bad sometimes. I'll look at messages and I'm like, I've missed how many? Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm sorry. Somebody catch me up on the side. Well, Jacob, tell everybody where they can find you, sir.
A few places. It's like I'm here on the Monday nights, talk to Sacramento Kings. I'm a guest on most of the Sideline Sports, depending on the day, Sideline Sports shows. Not on Sip Off because personally, I'm just giving a little piece. I don't drink and I don't want to do that to them. So right. I don't. I'm not on Sip Off, but I am on. I've been a guest on quite a few of their shows. I'm also with Ricochet and with as far as my writings, I'm with Ricochet and with Substack. Okay. You know, and Scriber Magazine, I've got published on there also. So I'm pretty busy right now.
Well, thank you so much, Jacob. Thanks for closing the show out with me. I hope you have a great evening and a Merry Christmas. Sorry, I was looking for something.
Merry Christmas to you, Happy New Year, and no Happy Holidays.
Well, fine then. No Happy Holidays to you either, mister. Happy New Year's, though. Yeah, and I'm sure I'll see you in one of our chats.
You bet. Bye-bye.
All right. Talk to you later. Bye, my friend. And thank you all for tuning in to the NBA Carousel. Again, the NBA Carousel is a Sideline Sports production hosted by a Score by Score app, available for download on the Apple and Google Play stores, as well as Manscaped. And then check out the Invisible magazine, where you can get all of your cultural, technology, and sports news provided by Sideline Sports. Thank you all. I hope you have a great evening. It's been a pleasure hosting you.